Madame, Monsieur, bonjour et bienvenue sur Africa 24. Dans ce nouveau numéro de décryptage, nous recevons son Excellence Cyril Ramaphosa, le président en exercice de l'Union africaine et par ailleurs président de l'Afrique du Sud. Avec lui, nous parlerons de la réconciliation en Libye, de la zone de libre-échange continentale et de la paix sur le continent. Monsieur le Président, l'Afrique est confrontée à plusieurs défis pour améliorer le bien-être de ses populations, notamment dans le cadre de la mise en œuvre de l'agenda 2063 de l'Union africaine. Des défis qui nécessitent une mobilisation importante des ressources. Quelles solutions de financement s'offrent à vous?
Well, Africa faces a lot of challenges across a number of areas of human existence. From health, from security, and just the social well-being of Africans. But at the same time, it faces a lot of opportunities, because with challenges comes opportunities. And obviously, having crafted Agenda 2063, the leaders of the continent decided that Africa needs to develop, it needs to address its challenges, and it needs to take up all the opportunities that are open to it, from developing the human capital of the continent, developing infrastructure, improving the livelihoods of the people of the continent, improving the livelihoods of women and children on our continent, and improving the economies of our continent. And to this end, as we take up the opportunities, funding can be sought and is available for a number of projects. On infrastructure, no doubt, we require billions and billions. But we're also fortunate that with the identified projects that we are working on from an African perspective, a number of funders have come to the fore because they see that Africa is a growing continent and all these projects are fundable and they're bankable, and Africa is going to be developing through this huge infrastructure build. So money, in the end, much as it may look like it's a big challenge, it is available for the right projects, and that's what we're focusing on.
Quelle est la principale clé pour résoudre le problème et les conflits en Libye? Comment l'Union africaine va-t-elle résoudre le problème des interférences militaires et politiques avec les pays occidentaux dans ce continent?
The African Union decided that Africa must take the lead in resolving the problem of Libya, because Libya is an African country, and we already have a slogan and a belief that says African problems require African solutions. And we also say that we would like those who are outside of our continent to allow space for the African Union to resolve the problems of our continent, because we are fully capable of resolving our problems. And as it is now, President Sassou Nguesso has been chosen by the African Union to head the high-level committee, but also the contact group, to ensure that there is peace in Libya. And we've just held a very successful meeting where countries that are part of the contact group, which is Chad, Congo-Brazzaville, Egypt, Algeria, and South Africa, have been involved in discussions, and we've come up with a clear roadmap on what should happen in Libya. Firstly, we want a ceasefire. Ceasefire must immediately be put in place so that the warring parties agree to a ceasefire. Secondly, we want the arms embargo to be observed. This means that those countries that are bringing in weapons in Libya must desist from doing so. But we also want those outside forces that are fanning the flames of conflict to stop from doing so. And obviously we want those who are trying to clamor for the resources of Libya to desist from doing so. The resources of Libya are for Libyan people. And the African Union, therefore, is now going to take charge, working together with the United Nations, of the efforts of making peace in Libya.
Quel est l'impact du coronavirus sur les économies africaines?
Well, the coronavirus is going to have a huge impact on the economy of the world, more globally, but it is also going to have an impact on the economies of Africa. From a South African point of view, we are looking at the impact that it could have. Already we are seeing the negative impact it will have on tourism. Tourism is a big and important sector in our economy, and already we are seeing the numbers of people flying into South Africa are coming down as airlines are reducing the numbers of flights that they are having to destinations such as South Africa. We also want to ensure that our economy is finally not too negatively affected. But we know it will be negatively affected because all economies in the world are going to be negatively affected because economies are driven by people-to-people contact, by business-to-business contact, and with coronavirus that is going to have a negative impact on that. But economies must always try to protect, obviously, their own economies, but we also want to protect the people of South Africa against coronavirus.
La zone de libre-échange continentale africaine est en cours de réalisation dans plusieurs pays africains. Cette zone pourra-t-elle faciliter le succès?
Well, as we all know, the majority of the citizens of our continent are young, and they are techno-savvy. They've taken to the digital revolution like a fish takes to water. They know technology, they love technology, they work with technology, they create technological innovations. And this is what stands us in our good stead. Already they are creating wondrous innovations on the technological field, and we can already see that this is the century that Africa has been waiting for, because through technology we are able to bridge all divides. We are able to bridge distant divides. We are able to bridge even infrastructure deficit divides. We are even able to frog leap even the education divide, because technological advancement enables people to take to education. Education becomes much more available. Skills revolution becomes the order of the day. And through this, we benefit now. We are now frog leaping from the first digital revolution to the fourth industrial revolution. That's where we are. This is where we have now arrived, and Africa is taking advantage of all this. We couldn't have had a greater moment like this as the African continent. And the greatest gift we've got as a continent are our young people. This is the best endowment. And people always say that Africa's endowment are the mineral resources, natural resources, water and the sun and all that. And I say the greatest endowment that we have are the young people of the continent. They are going to be the ones who are going to grow our economy, and they're going to take us into the stratosphere of economic development.
L'Afrique doit se promouvoir dans le monde. Comment notre chaîne Africa 24, première chaîne d'information mondiale en Afrique, peut contribuer à cet objectif?
Well, this is a channel that is already spreading the news about Africa around the world, and I want to see more and more of your channel spreading the good stories about Africa. and showcasing Africa in all its splendor, in all its wondrous endowments and gifts. Wherever you go on the African continent, you cannot but be positively affected by the beauty of the continent, the gifts that the continent has, and everything that is good. And we are moving from a very bad history of colonial domination, but we are exploding every day on the world scene, and we want your channel to take those news to the world.